Hey gang, what is up? In this video, I'm going to take this Delta 14-inch bandsaw and change this ridiculous 1-inch 25mm port. Let's jump right in. I love using cardboard for this step because I can easily make adjustments. I can get these pieces to fit within the webbing of the cast iron table. If I screw up, I could just cut new pieces. So the goal here is to create a shroud that fits directly underneath the cast iron table, that later I can create a dust port, or at least direct all that sawdust to fall within the lower chamber of the bandsaw, which would be an ideal spot for a 4-inch port. Years ago, I made this dolly by welding some angle iron, added some wheels, but now I'm going to take it loose from that to give you a better view.
All right, hopefully this doesn't make you too dizzy because this is laying on its side now, but we'll pull this thing off and throw it away. I don't know why you would save anything like this. I mean, this is, let's see, this thing I bought 25 years ago probably, so pretty old. Don't see any reason in saving this piece of plastic. It's not like I would want to put this back together and sell it as a original version. You know what I mean? Not a Harley Davidson. Anyway, let me open that guy. Yeah, that's about an inch, 25mm. That's crazy, right? I should have showed this to you before I took the cover off, but cardboard pieces, and I think everything is going to fit really well. This will also give me the opportunity to, if this is still not quite working, even after we add a 4-inch dust port, I can drill a hole here and we can put a shop vac size hole right here to capture even more dust, right? This knob just unscrews, and I went ahead and found, I found a nut that fit that thread, so I can cut some of this thread off. So when this is in place, this stud won't interfere with the new shroud we're going to add.
So please excuse my crude drawings, but they should provide enough information. Maybe pause the video, take some snapshots, take them out to the shop. And cutting the angles is easy. I'll show you that here in a bit, but you want to just start with these overall sizes. This one fits there. You can see that width. I wanted this as big as possible. And the front, I used 1/4 inch, 6mm plywood, and the other pieces are 12mm plywood. Some of these dimensions, you'll notice they have a plus or minus because this is angled, so you might make the part a little bit big and then sand or cut that with the angle so it fits. And remember, we will be rounding over or beveling that top edge to fit within the radius corners or the rounded corners of the cast iron table. Oh, and on the other side, this is the notch that we'll have to cut. Let's go to the table saw to do that.
All right, let's notch this out. Now, which one would you cut first, this way or this way? I see a lot of people do this wrong. They'll cut this like this. They'll make that cut, and then when you go to cut this one, that piece is trapped in here, right? So we want to cut this one first.
Of course, we want those angles to match, so we'll just connect those pieces. And I'm going to tag them in the fall off area. Here I'm using my go, no-go jig. its right edge is in direct alignment with the left side of the blade. Of course, that leading edge is easy to line up with the blade. This tailing edge, I can just take a straight edge or a little block of wood, line up that mark, and then clamp everything down. You'll see here that I kind of missed my line, must have moved, but lots of ways to do this, right? What I should have done was use my Fritz Franz jig made by David Bedrosian. Yeah, there's always next time.
All right, this is dry assembled.
As I'm checking the fit of this, I realize that there's a slight protrusion here, and so we want to make a notch for that right in the center. Also, as I mentioned earlier, under the casting, there's these radius corners that we need to accommodate for. So we'll round those edges. I believe I used a 3/4 or 19 millimeter Forstner bit, and I'm using a scrap of wood to back up the cut. Of course, I don't need to go all the way through.
So I had some magnets. These are 1/4 inch thick, so about 6.4 millimeters. And I don't know if that's 1/2 inch. It might even be metric, but they're about 1/2 inch thick. So I think I'll put them on the outside and let them protrude slightly. And I'm thinking about the placement of these, and it makes sense to me that if I have the magnets out here, the magnets could still attract, but this could pivot out, especially if there's weight from another 2.5 inch hose, which I may add, don't know yet. So it makes sense to me. I'm going to put the magnets forward because with the magnets attracted, this can't go that way, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but that's what I'm going to do.
Once I had the holes drilled for the magnets, I do a glue up, and I always record the time. Just a habit. Of course, there are different ways to get these components flush to each other and get rid of that glue. Me, I'm always going to choose a belt sander. Belt sanders are a massive help in my shop. I actually have 4 of these Makita 9401s. I call these the most underutilized tools in most shops. If you want to see more, I have several belt sander videos on my YouTube channel.
You can see I put kind of a heavy chamfer here on these edges and even these corners, so it'll fit up inside where those radiuses are in the cast iron.
And now I can fit this final piece to get a nice tight fit around all the stuff. Right.
That should work. I can paint it now and then add the magnets. I think I'll add a magnet. I could add a magnet here on the side, or maybe here would be better. Yeah, we're getting there. All right, while that shroud's drying, I decided I would take the blade off. I'm going to try to clean these wheels up, and I think I'm going to see if I can add a brush, something like this. It's pretty stiff, bristled. There's really not a lot of areas where you can put one of these. Maybe up here in the front. Maybe I can cut this and make that fit, but now I need a bandsaw. But yeah. These are pretty old. They're hard and they don't even look the right width, but I'm going to see about maybe ordering another set of these. Now would be the time to do it rather than cleaning this. Yeah. So a hacksaw made quick work of that, but I don't think this will quite fit. I mean, it fits there, but it's just too tight. So maybe I can cut this down in length and then make some sort of a bracket. So I'll have to show this to you in better detail once I stand the bandsaw up, but these brushes I can get from our local auto parts store.
All right, the bracket was started as a simple piece of angle iron. I cut one leg down and then connected some holes. or drilled some holes and then connected them with a hacksaw. Pretty simple, yeah. I began to clean up those slots with a file, and I thought that's pretty tedious, and I have this lathe with a milling attachment. So I can raise and lower that milling attachment and use this milling bit, or end mill, I guess is the right term, to clean up those slots. And it didn't turn out beautiful, but hey, it's going to work. All right, pro tip, paint in the trash can to reduce overspray.
Hey, good morning. All right, look what I found in the trash can. Yeah, man, that bracket will fit my bandsaw. All right, so I had marked this where the center of the wheel is, or the sides of the wheel, before I took the table off. So now we can just center this. I'm just going to kind of guess, split the difference of that somewhere in there. And add that right there. Scoot that over just a little, somewhere in there. I think. That'll be about the right height. Something like that. Cast iron is really easy to drill and tap. So let's give that a go and get a little oil. I love these little stubbies for starting holes.
Of course, you want to start with a smaller drill bit and then work up in increments. When I slipped the cast iron table into my vise, I made sure that it was plumb or level, right? So that later when I'm using my icrometer, I can make sure and eyeball that tap, make sure it's going in straight. It's got to be straight. Add a little chamfer, or is that chamfer? Caribbean, you know. I also drilled and tapped some threaded holes so I could use some Allen head machine screws to hold the brush in place.
I suppose there's no use in tightening it just yet until I get the new wheel on. I think that'll work. I think that'll work well.
So this brush, there wasn't really a lot of space underneath. I couldn't find a good place that I liked, so I just put it up on top. It'll be level or below the surface of the cast iron table, but I will have to cut a little accommodation in the cover. Shouldn't be a big deal.
This is actually a stubby bit that I wanted to show you. These are awesome. They're designed for pre-drilling. They don't flex as easy.
Yeah, and hole saws that are labeled bimetal hole saws, they will cut material like this fairly easy. Now, I should add that I resharpen my hole saws. I'll leave a link on exactly how to do that to make them cut amazingly well. Then I just take it outside to make those cuts and smooth everything out. And there we go. Should scrub that tire, keep it clean, and be adjustable as it wears. Now's a good time to revamp that top and lower assembly and clean up these guide blocks. And no, I did not make that cut in that guide block. I had these turned around. The previous owner had, well, abused this bandsaw.
All right, here we go. Magnets are protruding slightly. There. One here and one there, of course. Fits really well. The magnet adheres here before it snaps in place, but yeah, that's a really good hold. I love it.
Okay, let's add a 4-inch port down here at the bottom of this cover, and I think this is going to make a substantial difference. Might not even need another port on that shroud I just made. I'm not really sure why I chose rivets over like a self-tapping screw, but yeah, it worked. It worked well. Yeah, man, that came out awesome. And just seems like the appropriate location for a dust port. At this point, I can remove this 2.5-inch line. I believe that's 2.5, or about what, 70 millimeters? Something like that. And I don't have an automated gate on this bandsaw or my sander since they're in this same room as my dust collector. I can just hit the dust collector switch. Oh yeah, look at that. That thing sucks, right? Boom. That's what we're after.
Several days later.
All right, finally these guys came in. I believe I got these off of eBay. Urethane bandsaw tires, and they suggest putting them in hot soapy water. So I did that, let them soak in a 5-gallon bucket for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. And they send you a little dowel to help you stretch that over the wheel. All right, let's see how this goes.
One pair of pants later.
Yeah, man, that went better than I thought, and the second wheel went even easier. This is great. At this stage, I was excited to get this thing back on the dolly and see how it works.
Where are you going?
Let's make some cuts. Now, I should mention that at this point, my bandsaw is tuned like a champ. I didn't show any of that. What I would suggest is Googling Michael Fortune or Alex Snodgrass. I employ the same techniques that those guys use for completely eliminating bandsaw drift. All right, let's see how we did. Here's the proof. Boom. Look how clean it is inside. No, I didn't cheat. That is dust extraction all from that 4-inch dust port. So much better. All right, that's another video in the books. Do me a huge solid and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.